Hello everybody, it's Quan here and I'm back with another video. Alright, I'm not sure if many of you are familiar with the history of Atari. There was a gentleman known as Nolan Bushnell. He founded Atari way back when in the days, back when I was a wee little youngster. Uh, his company folded, got renamed, got acquired, got folded, got renamed, got reacquired, became Infogrames, became Atari once again. Sat up there, did a couple of things, screwed over a certain MMO company who shall remain nameless, then finally collapsed into oblivion. But all this without the grand majority of this, all without his participation, mind you, because he was in the first iteration of Atari. This gentleman goes on to say, and I quote, "I don't think handheld gaming only devices make sense anymore. Not when you have the iPad or Android, micro tablet. Nintendo always had a soft spot for young people. They sort of did the 12 and under pretty well, under pretty well. And other guys did the 12 and over. And now I think that other consoles are good enough on those things, and the rush to upgrade from 12 and under is not nearly as important." Okay, and he goes on to spout out some mess saying basically that Nintendo's on the way to being irrelevant. In other words, saying that handhelds are going to be overtaken as well as consoles by Android and iPhone and whatever. Now, here's my problem with that statement. First of all, the source. Okay, and this guy thinks he's going to like come and give sage advice of how to rescue a company when he was on the SS Titanic of USS Titanic of companies, or rather SS Titanic of companies. Big old gigantic ship hit the iceberg, did a slow crawl into the ocean. No offense to anybody who happens to be Titanic survivors. This is nothing ill against you. It's just basically looking at this guy who had a huge company and basically ran it into the ground. I mean, it's beyond ridiculous. I really do not understand how this gentleman even thinks to presume to give anybody advice. But that's all well and good. All that aside, Nintendo has the fastest selling handheld period as far as dedicated handhelds and even dedicated consoles in the 3DS. Nintendo has the muscle, if they do this, to succeed with the Wii U. Alright? Not to mention, they don't have over bloated budgets for games, so as a result, they can stay, you know, in the black if they keep it up. They can keep their profit margins high if they keep it up. You know what I'm saying? Don't let their reach exceed their grasp, if you will. So, I mean, to say that Nintendo or imply that Nintendo's going to become irrelevant is ridiculous because, I mean, if you think about it, they have purchased buildings, locations, they have hired more people, where their competition, on the other hand, has not. And if their competition is staying afloat and doing okay, relatively speaking, considering the losses they've taken for a lot of things, how is it that Nintendo's going to be irrelevant when they got 10 billion in the bank and growing? Seriously, Mr. Bush, are you kidding me? I mean, I'm a nobody here in the industry. All I am is a simple guy who's, at home, disabled vet, old guy. I don't know gaming other than I played games since I was a kid. One of my first consoles ever was one of yours, Mr. Bushnell. One of yours. I didn't have a Nintendo until way onward in my youth. But yours was the first game I've ever played. As a matter of fact, the first adventure game I ever played, ironically, was called Adventure on your console. A precursor, if you will, to the Legend of Zelda series, which I'm exceedingly fond of. You know what I'm saying? Because the gameplay style, finding items, using it for this and that, and continuing on, you know the scenario. But for you to say such a thing, that Nintendo is becoming irrelevant, when there are other companies that are having way harder of a time financially speaking, mind you, boggles the mind. And no, I'm not playing Captain Save a Hole with Nintendo because I don't need to. They're doing well enough. But even if you look at Sony, who sold many divisions, including part of their cellular market, etc. and whatnot, and you look at Microsoft with that whole fiasco with the Red Ring of Death, and they're doing fine. For all intents and purposes, that they're going for the long stretch. If they do things right, and if they sit up here and manage their budgets properly instead of spending 100 million on a controller, Microsoft, uh, they're gonna be okay. You know what I'm saying? All they gotta do is, like I said, not flood the market with tripe, not depend too much on third party, mind you. Let the third party depend on them, not the other way around, and all three of them will be okay. So, Mr. Bush, now, the next time you decide to get on the microphone and give an interview regarding the industry, can you do us all a favor? Okay, please, for the love of God, don't tell us how you're going to save a company when you couldn't even save your own. Okay? I'm just saying. Okay? And everybody who subscribes to my channel, let me know what you think. Everybody who doesn't is visiting, same thing. Like, dislike, whatever. Watch your comments though, because I'm not having drama here. Watch what you take from this channel again, because I will flag you. I don't like people stealing my things, and part of the noise outside, because some people are rude and like to rev their engines. Pardon that. But like I said, you're not rude with me, I won't be rude with you. Okay? And I'm going to be on with some news later on today. And that's about it. That's all I got to say about this matter for now. For now. Because you never know when Mr. Bushnell's going to hit the mic again. Well, until next time, everybody. Keep it gaming, as they say. And as I will say, whatever's clever.